this is all about just revision about how to write a research proposals. So after that, you have to give a presentations. We already discussed how to what are the different steps for giving a presentations, what are not. So we do not discuss here. Let's go to our topic, new topic, which is going to be discussed here. Yes. So how to write a scientific paper? With revision we are we are just having idea how to write a research proposal. Research proposal is the proposal that is a planning which can be write before doing the research, but the scientific paper, it is the something which is you have to write after clear cut research solutions or research result, after getting a research result. So how to write a scientific paper, that should be very much important point for here. The questions first ask yourself, that means is the paper is worth writing. That means if because you are already done with your research and also you have written your thesis or written your research report. So now we are going to just customize our research report in terms of some paper publishing or paper scientific paper publishing of scientific paper. So is the paper is worth writing, that means paper that is in what is in the literature, so what is the outcomes. So let's a lot of work, that means average of 20-30 drafts, do not do it unless it worth it. Means we are going to write, if you are having in your mind that I am going to write a scientific paper or write a paper for the journal, a particular journal. So what you have to done, you have should be keep in your mind that is the paper we are writing is very worth writing for this journal paper, or otherwise we are just writing a paper not for a good purpose, or just someone said that your paper should be published, you have to write a paper, so we are just writing it. So that is the important thing. So what do I have to say? You have to clear cut that single questions clearly stated in academic evidence of your answer. Then means this is similar to the title of the research paper. That research paper or title which can be clearly stating the what are the evidence, how this answer can be find out the answer, all the things. Try stating the questions and answer in one simple sentence. This is the problem statements, because besides the title, some particular research papers or journals, they have also given some criteria to make a pure research problem statement provide for the research paper. So what is your problem statement and how you have to find out the result, you have to clear cut write all these things. Eat one or more paper, that means for your research, because you already given 1 year 2 year or maybe 3 years for doing all the research, because your research paper is the outcomes of your research result. So if you are done with your research and in your hand is the research result, so you decide whether the research paper is uh, published in a single journal or single paper, or you have to divide the research paper in two different papers. For examples, if you are going to do research for finding some cause and solutions, both are same things, but do you are in your research proposals and in your research statement, the what is the cause of these research questions and what is the probable solutions of the research question. Two things are interrelated, but you have just get your result with handy. You also have also what are the causes and what are the solutions. So for that, whether you are going to deal all causes of your research questions in one paper and the solution of the research results that are in another paper. So you have to decide whether it is a complete paper or a part type of paper. So putting too much paper one paper also diffuse and less completing the focus. That means a research paper practically having not less than 10 pages, but your research thesis, mostly some of the research thesis is uh, because you are writing in details everything, so it may be either 100 pages, maybe 200 pages, but a research paper is coincides as minimum 10 pages. 10 to 15, 15 is very much, because 8 to 10 pages is sufficient. So for 200 pages of research thesis to coinciding up to 10 pages, it may be not possible for a single paper. So you have to divide according to your result, you have to divide your research total outcomes into different papers. So you have to decide that. So if you want to need write a paper, next questions, what is the right format for messaging original article review? Yes, now we have decided that your research result is going to publish in XYZ journals. So next thing is how you are going to write the paper. So for every journal or every research papers, they each having its own format or its own types of sequence. How you have to given some reference. What are the format, that is the theme of the research paper. These are different for different articles or different journals. So according to your research questions or according to your result, you have to choose a particular journal, let's say journal of environmental science or journal of environmental chemistry. So you have give the you have to read all the details or authors guidelines from these journals and make a draft format according to their format, so that can be easily published. So you have to make or choose the format where you have to submit the journal. Then you have to choose, you have to, what is the right audience. That means if you are publish the paper in XYZ form journals, okay, you have to choose the journal, then you have to also write the paper in its journals format. Then your questions is, after getting published, who are the audience, or who are the audience, or who are going to read your research paper. That is also important, because not just merely publish a research paper in any journals, that does not ends here, because the paper who are going to be next, because you once published, this is going to be review of literature for your next generation researcher. So who are the audience, who is going to take further to your research, that is also important. So you have to take care these things also, but this is secondary thing. First thing is choose a journal and write the paper according to the journal. Then next is choose the audience or who is going to take forward to your for your research, that is also important thing. Then what journal should I choose? That means if you are working in water pollution criteria, and if you are writing or choosing a journal on environmental chemistry, that means it not be suitable. You should choose journal that publish environmental pollutions. Both are environment, but in chemistry part you have to insert different chemical aspect. But in we have to working in the pollution part, so you have to choose some journals who is related to the pollution. So you have to also choose this kind of paper. Which journals is the topic of my paper within its scope and format? Should it matches the audience? Ask mentors or other senior researchers to apprentice. If you are confused which journals you have to choose according to your result, then follow these things. Check the format, whether it is according to your that format or not. Who are the readers of these journals? And if you are also confused, ask your supervisor or your seniors for these suggestions. Then next you have to also look out the impact factor. Wow, what is the impact factor? We already know, already discussed in our laboratory practical classes. What is impact factor? Then consequences of wrong decision. If you are choosing wrong journals, then what happened? Your time and money are going to be wasted, because some journals are taking long time to publish and hold your research paper, before going to publish, and that also loses your time and the failure to publish, because after submitting a journal in your paper in a journal, it takes up to minimum 3 to 6 months to publish. If you are choosing a wrong journal to and submit your research paper within the wrong journal, then what happened? After 6 months, the journal get rejected your paper, and again you have to submit another journal. So that 6 month time period, that just wasted. Even if your result and the research is very good, and because you choose a wrong paper, wrong journal to publish, it holds the time, and which could be does not publish after a long time, so that time is lost. Then then what happened? The Yes, the time lost and failure to publish. These are the consequences. So you have to carefully choose a journal where your research results should be published. So let's remember what is the impact factor. So how impact factor is calculated? Impact factor of the journal is calculated. That is how much number of article published in a particular time periods, and how much article published in previous time period, that is the total citations and the published articles. This is the formula for impact factors. So let's say A equal to total cites in 2015. In 2015's total number of citations, that means your research papers in journals, let's say some amounts of the citations are there, and B is the 2015 cites articles in 13-14. That means 2 years before, 2 years before, what are the number of citations? If you are published in 2015 and we were want try to publish 15, so let's check 2 years before, that in 13 and 14, or the 13, 14, 14 citations years, how much citations are coming to the journal, that is the B, and C the number of article published in previous year 2013 and 14. So the impact factor of the current year is equal to the number of citations in previous year by the number of article published in the previous year. That is the impact of the impact factors of the journals. So weightage review articles having higher than scientifically better populate the priest. If you are so let's say there are in this 2024, if you are publishing some articles in Journal of Environmental Pollutions, let's this is a paper, this is a journal. So if you are publishing in 2024, then check out what are the number of citations of total citations in previous, means 2023-24. If there are 2000 numbers of citations are there in 2023-24, then if you are publishing, total number of articles are, let's say, 200. So 2000 divided by 200 equal to 10. That is your 2000 impact factor. So impact factor is number of article sites in previous last 2 years by the total number of article published in previous last 2 years. This is the calculation format for your journal impact factor. So higher impact factor means higher number of citations, lower impact factor means lower number of citations. Higher number of citations means more number of researchers and more numbers readings and downloads are there. So having higher citations, if the journals is not read by so many people and your journal is not impactful, that means why? Because the researchers who are not going to read your journal, that means the impact factor is going to be fall down. So to find out a journal's impact factors, Search impact factor current years, that is 2 years, that is for now impact factor is 115. If you are searching for 2024, then see what are the number of citations in 22 23 and 23 24. A scientific article is critical argument, statement of problem, posing different questions, presentation of evidence, assessment of validity of the evidence of the phases, strength, weakness, all other things, conclusions. So all the things should be coincide in your articles because it is a scientific article. In your statement of problem, posing a questions, because every research start with the questions. So while writing a scientific paper, your problem or statement should be clear. Presentation of evidence, that means if you are doing some calculation of result or making some collection of the data and analysis, so whatever may be the methods, mostly this is for scientific articles. For scientific articles we are going for observation methods, we are following observation method, that is for measurement of some with some instruments, that is nothing but the observation methods. And for that observation method you have to make sufficient amount of evidence or proof. If you are saying that today's temperature is 25 degree or 26 degree centigrade, so what is the proof that you measure the temperature of the 27th this August is 26 degree centigrade? Because after 5 days or 10 days you should write the problem paper. So at that time you have a sufficient proof that you have measured the temperature before 5 days. This is one example. If someone measuring some pollution levels, let's say of real oxygen, COD, BOD, and making a table, and after 1 month and 2 months, whenever you are going to write this paper, at that time you have make sufficient proof that you have actually measured the temperature or measure the calculations, do the calculations, and not going, should not do to have any manipulations. ऐसे भी होता है, तो let's you have make a sufficient evidence from that. You have to take some photo or some videos or some geo referencing tag photo, all the things you have to make some proper evidence for your result or observation methods. So assessment of validity of the evidence in the face of strength, weakness, and other evidences. That means whenever your research paper is going to be published or they're going under a review processes. That means in that review processes, the judges or the scientists who are going to be reviewed, they have they should convince that you have done with a proper evidence. So he or she may be asked for a evidence. So you have, if you do not have some evidence, then your paper simply get rejected. And lastly, conclusions. Conclusions is the most catchy parts of your outcomes of your research results in a shortcut method, that is your conclusion, because no one going to read details result and discussion sections. Somehow some result and discussion if you are written not very nicely for 3 and 4 pages, but a simple one paragraph also written in conclusion section, that everyone should go through that. So conclusion you have to also write very fascinating manner. Literature search, whatever done already is already discussed. Title of the pages, do it clearly, title, author and their order, sources or support. He has also mentions, because not only the title, in title page, title you have to written the title. After that, the authors. Authors means who are the contributors of your research. In case of you, if you are solely done the research, you and your supervisor should be the authors. And if you are making or doing some collaboration with the other different organizations or different other researchers, then also put the name in the author's name. That is the authors very clearly mentions the authors, who are the authors, and their supports, how the authors are contributed the paper. This is very much important. If 2 and 3 are written a same articles on paper, so not everyone should be contribute everything, because someone did the experiment, someone make the data collections, and someone and do the written part of this all these actions, and your supervisor is the checking whether it is correct or not. So everywhere the role of author is also different for the different things. Then source and support, if you are getting funded, because someone is going to funded you for your research, so you should acknowledge these funding sources very much. Someone giving money or helping in every way, anyway, you have to just mention in acknowledgement section that I have given, or this research is funded by this agency dash dash, and I have get supported from this laboratory, or if you are going to analysis the lab in a particular lab, they are going to help you, then also you have to mention all the things. Establishment responsibility in paper writing. Avoid hurt feelings. You should not write in a different sentence like someone getting hurt, because some papers they also are very criticize the literature gap, or very criticize the previous finding. That should not be in your paper. So in the process of paper writing, create a outline, because whenever you are going to write, create a outline. Then plan on multiple drafts, file name with dates. Let's say today you have written some things, and make a folder with the title of the research title, with make a clear draft with the date name. If you are modified that in tomorrow or any date, just update it, and your file name written over a new draft. That means for clearly, because the paper we are writing is not written in a pen and paper, you are writing this in a laptop using Microsoft Word, or any other type of softwares. So this should be very much clear, and updated version. Table and figures are early prompts and more analysis, because you have seen that every table and figures having it captions, the title of the table and table number, figure number. We already discussed what are the formats for table and figures: row headings, footnotes, head notes. So every details you have to write clearly. Deadlines for you and co-authors, because the paper you are submitting a paper in a journal, then what's happened, make a clear deadline that we have to submit the paper within means clearly decided date. Let's say 30th of the August we have to submit these things. So keeping on that mind, you are going to write the paper accordingly. Introduction sections, you have to draw audience to be provocated. So after the title page, next step is introduction sections of a paper. So introduction sections, you have to written in a catchy manner, that because after writing some abstract, after that you have to write the introductions. So introduction is nothing but the background information, as well as why we are going to do the research, and what should be your probable outcomes. All the things are written in the introduction section. So most of the session, the audience who are going to read your paper, they should be expect some clear cut and good story manner. So you have to write the introduction section in linkage by linkage, story wise manner, so in a facilitating manner that can provoke the reader to read more and more. Because whenever, if you are not interested to reading something, just discard these things. So if you are making your paper in such way that people are, or the audience can be interested for reading your paper. Target journal specific audience, I already discussed. If you are uh, writing the paper in pollutions, then you should not focus on chemistry. So according to your specific journal audience, which types of journals you are writing, so if your design or writing flow should be in that journal format. Identify gaps in knowledge, that is already done with your literature review and literature citations gap, literature gap. So clearly identify the literature gap or the knowledge which you are going to focus. And with questions hypothesis. Introduction sections, the last paragraph of introduction section. In that paragraph, you have to just write what are the probable solutions and which are we are going to work with that. That is the hypothesis sections will be written the last part of this introduction sections. The next section is material or the method sections. In these sections, you should include in these sections you should include subheadings like materials, where you are going to purchase the material, what are the purity of the material, all the things, and the methods, what methods you are going to um, use. Clearly write all the things in methodology sections. Write clearly enough to understood by nomenclature reader and the replicated methods, all the things. Past tense, use always past tense methods. That is also important thing. Then after materials and method section, next is the result and discussion sections. In result discussion sections, you should write all tables, figures in this result and discussion section. Organizing our table and figures. Whatever the table and figures you are put in this result sections. Then present tabular results in selectively text. If you are making a table, for example, here temperature versus the centigrade in different degree, different dates. So at that, whatever you are written in the table or in the figures, you just elaborate these things in a text form, in a paragraph form. Just discuss all the things in the paragraph form. That increase your analysis content of your result and table, that your results. That is also very, you have to write. Also use your past tense, because the in the time of the writing of the paper, you already did your result, already done with your research. So you have to always use past tense. No interpretations, just the facts. Whatever may be the facts, you have to just write those things. No interpretations. You should not be interpret. Like for example, it may be or it probable might be happen. You should not be like written this sentence. Just facts. It is the level of the temperature. For example, the temperature of the particular date is so much high because of the weather is sunny. This is a fact. You should not write in this way that the temperature is so high because maybe due to the different things, or maybe wind is not blowing, or maybe the anything, that you should not have any proof. If you have not have any proof, then you should not be interpret. Just fact, write about the fact whatever you have. Tables should stand in their own. If someone is clearly see the table, it clear should be understandable, the table should be understandable. So everything, the every subsections of tables and figures must be clear. After the result section, the discussion section, you have to write first paragraph answer question to the hypothesis, because the last paragraph of introduction section is the hypothesis section. And after writing the result in discussion section, you have to write a paragraph about what is your assumptions, what is your hypothesis, and what are your result is asking or telling or not, whether it is hypothesis is get true or hypothesis is false, whether your assumptions is matched with your result or not. You have to make a discussion in your first paragraph. Then evidence, pro and cons, what is the advantages, disadvantages, literature review, strength and limitations if your studies. Obviously, all the things you have to write. Implication of findings, if some things, some having your results, what are the difficulties to find out the result, all the things you have to just elaborate. Other findings of your study, what are the, apart from your result, what should the other findings, other, that is the that extraneous variable, because we are direct indirect variable working on that, but some extraneous variable that may be affected your result but may not be part of your study, that should be also written right in this section. Last paragraph you have to write conclusions, obviously short form of the all details of your research paper in a one paragraph form, that is write a conclusion. So getting the tense, past and present, when quoting previously published work, refer it in a present tense. See, this is very much important. When quoting previously published work, if some things are quoted from the review of literature previously was, write in present tense. And when describe your own study, if your result whenever you discussed, then write it in past tense. Here penicillin treats strep throats. This is a written documents which can be referred from different authors. So this you have to write in present tense. But your work, whatever your result, we tested a new antibiotic for the strep throat. Here it is right in your past tense. So literature review, when you are referring something, be focused on present tense, and when you are discussing your result, write in past tense. So the good scientific paper is a focus on scientific questions or not. It is the main questions. Covers a broad spectrum of disease methodology questions. Less is more. That means whenever you are going to focus your research result, then what is the main thing? Abstract and tables and figures are understandable without reading whole paper. Yes, obviously. Abstract table and figures are understandable only the reading the whole paper, because someone is going to read your paper, then first they have read the title, then go for abstract only without going other result. Then next is writing a passive voice. Example, it was found that, or writing a active voice. Which sentence you have to use? Obviously, your own result you have to use writing in active voice or in past tense. We found that like it was. So use always active voice. Then next, a term defined in the paper in the method section is used again and again. A term that should not be used in a section again and again. Various synonyms for the term should be used, and define your term in constantly other. What is the answer? A term defined in the methods is used again and again. That means if you are using some particular things in a paper and define the things, for example, if you are measuring diesel oxygen and abbreviate the diesel oxygen, first is a DO and bracketly diesel oxygen. So in next sentence, you should not be write again and again diesel oxygen. You can also write DO. It may be understandable. So this is the shortcut things. Writing in a flowery way, writing in a concise way. Generally, the shorter is the methods. Which way you have to write? So always write, because you are writing a research paper, not a research report or thesis. Mind it. If you are writing a reports or thesis, it should be in a details way, and what in a clear details, and more papers number of pages should be. But whenever you are writing a paper, it should be concise and very short, because it is limited to 8 to 10 pages. Are terms used consciously throughout? No do numbers and extract matches the tables, all the things these are to mind. Brief synopsis of writing abstract. It is a mini paper, because abstract is some paragraphs before the actually your results or anything research. So 1-2 sentence takes from introductions, and some parts take from results, methods, and discussions obviously, and write this abstract. So likewise, paper requires many drafts oriented presenting argument concisely. Because you are writing a paper, it is not a 1 day things or 2 day things. You have to sit in a write a paper. You have to write a paper and just sit 1 day or 2 day. You should not be there. It is so many long term, again and again you have to revise a draft. After that you have to setting the paper according to the journals, all the things you have to making. The reviewer is always right whether they are not. Do not respond quickly, digest reviews, because whenever you submit a paper, you have get got comments. Whatever the comments the reviewer asks, that is always right. You are going a positive way by taking some of the comments. If the comments is, you should not defend the comment. That is the important thing. If a paper was rejected, if you submit and the paper get rejected, then what? You should not get demoralized. If one journal it is rejected, then submit to the another journal. it was sent out a review, but changing the type of journal. If you changing, if you are submitting one journal, if you get rejected, then again rewrite in a different format of another journal, again submit it. So last at least 3 journals, you have to submit at least 3 journals of different modules or different perspectives, different areas where you can get. If all 3 journals are get rejected, then you have to reconsider the paper, rewrite again. Before 3 journals, you are do not be worried. After 3 rejections, you have to just modify your paper. So this is all about how the research paper are going to be written and it will be published. Any questions? Manasa?
No, sir.
Okay. Kusum, are you listening?
Yes, sir, I am listening. No question.
No questions. चार्मी,
Yes, sir.
कहाँ गायब हो गए थे? नेटवर्क
सर इधर नहीं सर, इधर ही वो नेटवर्क का कॉल आ रहा था। एक्चुअली वो वडोदरा में है ना, तो वो ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहा है।
कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
हाँ, इसलिए सर।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है। तो रिसर्च पेपर कैसे लिखा जाता है, ये उसका शॉर्टकट तरीका था, मतलब द प्रोसेस स्टेप्स। तो ऑल यू आर वर्किंग इन योर डिसर्टेशन टाइटल्स, आपका डिसर्टेशन टॉपिक फाइनल हो गया, आपका प्रेजेंटेशन हो गए अनुपम सर के साथ। सो नाउ योर टास्क इज राइट ए रिव्यू पेपर। ये सबने दिया था कि एक रिव्यू पेपर लिखने के लिए। सो व्हाट इज द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ योर राइटिंग? कुसुम, आपका तो जो पेपर रिव्यू पेपर का प्रोग्रेस मैंने देखा है, पंकज सर के साथ है। एंड व्हाट अबाउट मनसा, आर यू राइटिंग समथिंग?
The review paper, sir.
Yes. What is the progress on your
Yes.
dissertation work, dissertation title? What is the progress? Are you,
Yes, I'm also doing that.
okay. And Charmi?
यस, मैंने भी स्टार्ट कर दिया है। मेरा पंकज सर के साथ, पंकज सर अंडर कर रही हूँ सर अब मैं भी।
अच्छा अच्छा। तो और ये जो आज में हमने जो पढ़ा, ये दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ द यूनिट 3। एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिकल में तो है नहीं, इसका ऐसे है नहीं। यूनिट 3 में है कि हाउ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ रिसर्च पेपर। देखो, रिसर्च पेपर इज डिफरेंट टाइप्स। जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू आर राइटिंग ए पेपर्स, फर्स्ट सिंपल पेपर दैट कॉल्ड रिव्यू पेपर। फॉर राइटिंग रिव्यू पेपर you do not need any types of research to do. Second thing is that is called letters. We are not focusing on letters. First is review paper, second is called review letters. Letters are again very short concise form of things that is called letters. So we are not going through that. Next is research paper. Research papers are the paper who are not instantly you have to write. After doing your research and after getting your result, after writing your thesis again, thesis लिखने के बाद you have, because thesis 200 पेज का है, तो रिव्यू पेपर उसमें से 10 पेज को कोइंसाइज करना है। ये रिसर्च पेपर लिखने का तरीका है। तो फर्स्ट व्हाट एवर यू हैव डू, आपका जो डिसर्टेशन के लिए जो भी कर रहे हो, जस्ट एवरी डिटेल्स यू आर मेक ए नोट इन ए ब्रीफ इन डिटेल्स, that will help you write not the research paper, that will help you write a research dissertation, or that is research reports. After the research dissertation or titles is over, you just filter it out. जो important things that you require for writing a research paper, you have to just filter out from 200 pages to 10 pages. It is very easy, but whenever you are making 10 pages to 200 pages, it is very difficult. तो इसी हिसाब से आप जो भी डिटेल्स है, मान लो आज कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, जो भी लिया, जैसे डायरी लिखते हैं, सेम make it whatever you do every day for your dissertation, just note down in every small steps that you that makes you help in great for writing your research thesis as well as also research papers. If anyone having any questions, कोई डिस्कस करना है? Okay, if you do not have any questions, then just end our session.
No questions, sir. Thank you.
Okay, you can leave now. I just end our questions.
So do not worry if your paper rejected. Check whether it was good or not. Okay, bye. So we have 10 minutes left.
क्या करें, मेरा तो प्रैक्टिकल था 9:30 से 11 12:30 तक, तो 1 घंटा थोड़ा ऐसे बताया, फिर बोला कि भाग जा, क्या करना है। क्या- अरे वो एचओडी या एकेडमी डायरेक्टर भी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, वो लिंक में देख रहे हैं क्लास हो रहा है कि नहीं है। हाँ पक्का होगा, जो ज्वाइन करेगा तो होगा, नहीं तो अपना खुद को बैठ जाओ। एलएमएस एलएमएस में कैसे लेक्चर देना होता है? हाँ, पीवाईक्यूज में है क्या ऐसे गूगल मीट जैसा? हमारा तो सबका गूगल मीट है, मानो सेंट्री को जो भी है। हाँ, हाँ, वो सही है। हाँ, हाँ, हेलो।